So God's asked me to share with you guys more on this Black Moon Lilith entering Scorpio, and it's going to remain in the sign for the next 9 months, which is the time period it takes to birth something. So God is bringing a transformation, a rebirth of this area in our life. And as we have talked about, Black Moon Lilith, or what I like to refer as Black Moon, because it's both for male and female, this transformation. We all have feminine and masculine attributes. So it goes both ways. But what God was showing me and wanting me to share with you guys is more on the sexual transformation that God is trying to birth in our lives. Because the 8th house, the sign of Scorpio, is the 8th house, which has to do with death and rebirth and transformation and sex. Scorpio is a very sexual sign. It rules over the sexual organs. And so the fact that the Black Moon is entering this sign shows us that God is really trying to bring a transformation and a liberation in this area of our life concerning sex, right? And we know that we live in a day and age where they continuously try to feed us that sexual liberation, right? So this Black Moon in Scorpio, it has to do with sexual liberation. But what the world feeds us and defines for us as sexual liberation is that we can just have sex with whoever we want and do whatever we want and be sexually loose. And this is sexual liberation. But this is a false definition of what sexual liberation actually is. And so we have to look to the Most High and to our Bible to understand what truly God defines sexual liberation as. And for, I think, many women, we have, I forgot this is statistics. I don't know if it was 3 out of 5 women have been sexually abused at some point in their lifetime. And as someone who has, myself gone through my own, childhood, issues in this area, and confusion and perversion and being exposed to things at an early age that were not good or healthy, it gave me a false sense of sexual health. And so for many of us, this has tainted us. This has brought confusion. This has led us into cycles of being used, abused, of trying to use our body as a way to, create intimacy. And it just has been unaligned because of the world that we live in and how sexually perverse everything is. And the programming we're taught, I mean, the music, the TV, the ideals that that they're constantly pumping into our minds and throwing at us is constantly feeding us a sexually perverse and loose version of sexuality. And this is intentional. The enemy knows that there's so much power to be tapped into through sexual relations and encounters. So the enemy would love for us to have sex outside of marriage, to do it outside of God's intended purpose and design. So because then people can come in, and their demons can come in and lock in, plug in to our energy and begin to siphon off our energy, our essence, and use it to feed off of. And so this is why when we are engaging in sexual activity outside of the covenant of marriage, this is why we become drained, we become ashamed, we repeat cycles and patterns that lead us further down a road of being used, of being abused, of being rejected, of being dishonored. And so God is trying to heal that void. He's trying to heal this cycle within both men and women, of giving away our divinity, our divine power, our body. And he's trying to disconnect us from these entities that are trying to siphon our energy. And this is why the occult world uses sex magic. It's not just because they are freaks. It's because there is a spiritual transaction. This is how they siphon energy. One of the most powerful ways to harness energy is through sex. And one of the most powerful and effective ways to steal someone's energy and harness their energy is to engage in intercourse with that person, which is why so much of the black magic and the these witches and warlocks engage in so much sexual perversions and sex magic and sexual sacrifices and human trafficking, and all of this feeds and empowers them. And this is why they continue to hold positions of power and influence, because they are constantly stealing and siphoning energy from their victims. So the victim ends up withering away. And you can see this with many celebrities. Justin Bieber is one of those that is just they have plugged into him since he was a child. And we see how it's just stolen all his aura, his energy, his life force. Another one we see right now that's happening to is Ariana Grande. She's just withering away because the rituals that they're doing on her is beginning to take its toll. So what God is really pointing out to us at this time through the black moon entering Scorpio is he's addressing the wounds. He's addressing where we've given parts of ourselves away due to an imbalance and an improper use of intimacy. And he's showing us how to take our power back, how to heal from the past wounds and experiences that happened to us throughout our life. And so we can align and we can come into healthy intimacy and biblical order so that we can prosper and abound. And so at this time, it's very important that we address this in our own personal lives. What does our intimate life look like? And how can we repair it? How can we make it healthy? So if we're having intimacy outside of biblical order, outside of the covering of God and the covenant of God, then we are being depleted. We are being used. We are allowing ourselves to come into agreement with demonic hosts and entities and even people that are harming us, that are using our energy, whether they are doing it consciously or not. They're still being controlled by demonic entities to be hosts that take our power through connecting to our bodies and using it for negative things. And so at this time, we definitely, I believe the Lord is putting us bringing this to our attention and really asking us to take a look at it and to address it. Because if you're not prospering, it could very well be, if you're having sex outside of marriage, that this is the doorway that the enemy is come into your life to steal, kill, and destroy. This is why we have to be wise in spiritual warfare and not give any room to the devil, because if we open a door to the devil, and having intercourse with someone who's not your kingdom spouse is opening a huge door. This is probably the fastest and most effective way you can give away your power, and you can open the door to the enemy to come in and still kill and destroy. And so we don't want to give the enemy a foothold, and we want to have a healthy perspective and really apply purity in our lives so that we can maintain our power, our confidence, our purpose, and keep our purpose intact. Because when you engage in this activity outside of the covenant, it comes, there's no way around about it. It comes with sorrow. It comes with pain. It comes with shame. It comes with feeling used. It comes with feeling bad about ourselves. It comes with attachment. You're attached to the situation. You're attached to the person who is not willing to commit to you and who is not willing to see your worth and your value and protect that. So I believe the next 9 months are really going to be a powerful time of transformation in this area of our lives. And it's going to bring about healing. It's going to bring about and develop within us and empower us and truly liberate us. This is true sexual liberation. This is what God has shown is truly sexual liberation, which is purity. So we can maintain our confidence and our power, and it's going to be good for us. It's going to be transformative for us. It's going to heal us. It's going to cut off. It's going to raise the standard for women. And men are going to begin to realize that they can no longer just use and abuse women and just sleep around with women. And, you know, vice versa. So we have to raise the standard. We have to come out of this trauma bonding and this animalistic perception of sexual intimacy.